morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 262nd episode. In the last 261 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 education leaders from all over the world. And like in every web talk, today as well, we have a superbly amazing topic where we'll try to take the opinions, experience and ideation of school leaders, teenagers, university leaders on what do they think are the best ways of making your career choices. So all the teens who might be joining this call, if you might have any questions, do post them in the chat. Or if you're joining us on YouTube, post your questions in the comments so that our team can take care of them and take them up in the next episode. Before we start the session, just some ground rules for everyone. Think of the Blub World Web Talks like a speaking sprint, not like a speaking marathon. So the speaking time is limited, and most importantly, when you're speaking and when your time is up, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. Secondly, while you're speaking, we might put in some questions for you that the audience might have asked. Please try to respond to the questions and make the episode interesting for everyone. Sit back, relax. The next 30 to 40 minutes are basically there for your ideas, where we'll be listening to you. Thank you so much, everyone, once again for joining us. Today's topic talks about something superbly interesting. And the reason why it has become more interesting in the current years is with the advent of AI coming in, the advent of superb uncertainty that the current generation sees when they have to make career choices or their higher education choices. So we'll today be talking about why are 1 in 3 teens unsure about their career path. So to start this conversation, let me invite the first speaker for today. Remember, all the speakers, the first time slot that you get to speak is for 3 minutes. And once you reach the mark of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, Blub World will raise their hand, or I'll raise my hand. And when you see my hand raised up, that means you have the next 30 seconds to conclude. I would request you to please take care of that. And once all the speakers have spoken first, then we go into an open floor where you can again express your opinions if you missed out something, if you got muted. So don't worry about that. We'll try to accommodate that. Just the format is such that the first slot is of only 33 minutes. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me invite the first speaker for today. So the first perspective, let's have it from somebody who takes care of higher education. Because when a student comes to them, they actually have gone through that transition. So what kind of a thought process a child brings to their institute or their university? A very warm welcome to Professor George Ladaah, the Vice Chancellor for Gulu University from Gulu City, Uganda, East Africa. Professor George, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me in this meeting, a very important meeting. I have already been introduced well. My name's I head a public university in Uganda in East Africa. Why are 1 in 3 unsure of what they do? Me, I attribute this to lack of career planning, right from parents. The parents sometimes insist their children to go and do things in which they are not passionate. And when they go to schools, the lower secondary and the upper secondary, the education is still general. They are not exactly focused on what they would want to do. And in the end, when they reach university, we also teach generally. Just this morning, I was talking to a group of youth, telling them that they must be focused on what they would like to be and tailor their efforts, their learning efforts in that. But when they come with a wild card, thinking that whatever they study will help them to know whatever comes. So they come and then they are stranded. At the end of the day, when they complete their studies, they do not know what to do because they have not been thinking about it. And this leads to a lot of frustration, leads to a lot of, trauma for them because you have been studying for 16 years, 14 to 16 years. And you've gotten nothing. And sometimes even when you let me know when my time is up, and even when they are finished, because they are unsure, they come back for more studies, again, clueless. I think the solution is our curriculum, educational curriculum, as we present it as a supermarket approach where you go and select what you want. But first of all, as you enter the supermarket, you must know what you want to buy and why you want to buy it, and of what value is it going to add in your life. So you go to a university, there is an array of programs, courses, you select according to your interests, according to your future needs. In that way, we will avert issues of young people being unsure of what they should do. Now, finally, this business of unsure youth, they grab anything that comes their way. And in the end, even when they have got jobs, they become frustrated. Then you end up with a frustrated workforce. And that is not good for production. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. George. You're very right when you say this, that you have to change the approach of going to a university. Why are you really taking that education? A student will have to ponder a little more on the objective or the purpose with which they're coming to a university. When you're selecting your career, literally don't take the supermarket approach that I'll go in and whatever is available, I'll pick up. Rather than that, when you really have to select a career for yourself, go with an approach where you know your grocery list, where you have that with you before you enter the supermarket. Try to understand what are you really trying to gain from it. For education institutes, it's difficult to personalize education for you, but for you, it's easier to focus. It's easier to narrow cast on what you exactly want to achieve with your education. Some very important points that Professor George made. Thank you so much for the amazing start to the conversation. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Sherry Ann Joseph, who is the Director of Special Education for New York City Public Schools from Brooklyn, New York. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here. And in addition to what was previously laid, I would like to submit today that many of our students are unable to determine their career path due to limited life experiences. Many students have not been exposed to real-world careers, and if you don't expose them, it's difficult for them to go to a place that they don't even know exists. It's difficult to explore careers that you don't know about. So they are struggling to make these decisions because of limited information and exposure. Also, our education system has not prioritized career discovery. If in our schools we don't teach students more than standardized tests, they will not be able to identify these career choices because it's not a part of their exposure of the daily narratives that they hear about. We also have a job market that is rapidly changing, and some of our kids, they just don't know what to explore because at one time this was a great career choice, but now because of AI, career choices are changing, and you have to ensure that as you plan ahead, your job will not be taken away by a robot. So this is also a concern for some of our youths. And then, like the speaker before me said, the pressure from the parents. Some kids are just exposed to what parents tell them they should do and not necessarily what they were created to do or what they are passionate about. So that also limits the choice. Then we have social media that distorts career expectations. Social media may force kids to think that positions such as influencers and content creators are the only careers that they should consider perfect choices or monetary choices. So they sometimes limit the choices based on the social media distortions. There's also a lack of awareness and guidance that comes because some teens don't know what their strengths are, what they are interested in. They don't have the confidence in themselves to really pursue careers that would make them stand out and be successful. So I think there's a work to be done in our society today in terms of exposing our youths to numerous career choices, helping them find their strengths, helping them understand not only careers that would make a lot of money, but careers that would bring them joy and fulfillment and help them to find their place in the world today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. You're very right when you say that, the lack of exposure of career choices is also a big challenge, because in most of the places, the point of career exploration really starts by the time you are concluding your high school. And that's not enough time before you get into a higher education institute to really figure out that, okay, which is the direction that I want to go into? Does my passion take me to engineering? Does my passion take me to arts or humanities? This is something of a complex decision that would need a lot more opportunities for students to basically get into exploration and get exposed to career choices. Because you're very right, as of now, most of the teens across nations feel that content creation or becoming an influencer is the ultimate career that they can really create, because that is what they're seeing day in and day out. So increasing exposure and creating more opportunities at school level for teens to see what all is there in the world beyond what they see on their screen. Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Gladis Diana Shivakumar, the principal of Brindavan Public School from Kunnur, Nilgiris, Tamil Nadu, India. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
And I'm delighted to be with all of you. I totally agree with Mr. George and Dr. Cherry. Most teenagers are in an exploratory stage nowadays. And whenever we meet children, like in schooling and all, they may sometimes dream big, like, I want to become a doctor, engineer, artist, cricketer, etc. But don't always have a full idea of what those careers involve. I hope you all will agree with me. Because parents, peers, teachers, media, and social trends strongly influence their preferences. For example, a teen might want to be a software engineer just because everyone is doing it. They may not know what it is exactly. Many base their choices on hobbies like drawing, gaming, sports, or sometimes the school subjects they enjoy, but they may not yet understand how to translate those interests into sustainable careers. Do you think they are serious about it? Yes, emotionally, these teenagers often take their career thoughts seriously. They think about their future and feel pressure to decide. Their ideas can change frequently because identity, interests, and values are still developing in adolescence. What they are serious about at 15 may shift by the time they are 18 or 21. In competitive education systems like in India, many teens are pushed to be serious about career choices earlier than they are naturally ready. This can make them appear serious, but sometimes it's more about meeting expectations than true conviction. Whatever their mama says or uncle says, auntie says, or in a party, somebody they say like, I want to see you as a doctor because your father is a doctor. These kind of things, it just make them to think or take a decision which is not actually the decision what it is. But do you think that at this teenager stage they can take a decision? I think partially yes. They can identify areas of interest like in sciences or arts or commerce or creative fields. That's why when they come to grade 8, We talk to them about the careers, about the different options which they have in front of them, because they need to choose whether they have to choose sciences or they have to take commerce. Because at this stage, they can explore strengths and weaknesses through school subjects, activities, or aptitude tests. But I don't think it's final. A career decision, again, I would like to repeat, at 15 to 18 is usually a direction, not a lifelong lock-in. Careers today are flexible, and many people switch fields even in their 20s or 30s. I think you all will agree with me. The best approach for the teens is they need to be encouraged to explore broadly, to assess themselves, to seek guidance, to stay open. Then only they can understand the choices can evolve. Teenage.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gladys. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you making some very important points. It's not very right to interrupt, but the challenge is that's the way the format works. But the important points that you made, that yes, a teen is not in that state of mind, or rather has that kind of information where they can make a perfect career choice, but they can at least decide the direction where they want to really head to. And for that, I think what Dr. Cherry also said and what Dr. George also said, that there has to be a conscious effort towards career exploration, because most of the curriculums across the world miss that, and they seriously miss that, where they really, put education, and while education is happening, they also put the focus towards employability, that why are you really taking this knowledge? Where will it finally translate into the real world? What kind of a life do you imagine? Do you think a hobby that you might have today may become a well-paying career? These are the questions that don't really are either asked, and even if they're asked, there's no detailed answers that are given to teenagers. So you're very right that yes, not a career choice, but at least the direction can be decided when you're a teenager. Thank you so much, Dr. Gladys. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Meenakshi Ahlawat, the Principal Consultant for Presidium School, Rohtak, Haryana, India. Meenakshi, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I have been listening to all the previous speakers, and most of the topics have been very well covered by them. I have a little take here, and I would like to share my thought process regarding the paradox of the choices. Because as the first speaker said, that there are array of courses available in the higher institutions, but does that gap from the school to the college and the universities, are we able to fill that gap? Are the schools preparing the children, like Mrs. Gladys just said, that we start talking to the students by grade 8 when they have to make the choice of stream. Now that choice of stream is a first building block to make a career choice. But definitely somebody spoke about social media also. Now the social media is an absolutely tameable. It can be tamed as a servant. It need not to be the master, and it should guide us. So what I personally believe, because I'm a career counselor, that I really think that children must be exposed in the educational institutions, right from schools, that how social media can help you rather than destroy you, because there is so much that we can do. Even AI, as a matter of fact, it is a very, very beautiful servant if it is allowed to help us and assist us. Jobs will not be taken away by AI, provided the curriculums in schools, colleges, and in the higher institutions keep on evolving in this VUCA world to make sure that every child gets their fair share of what they want to pursue in life. Because careers are not the same as they were when we started and when we got into the job market. But definitely the careers are not going to be the same in another 2 years. It took us 20 years to evolve. But children of today, when they are in grade 10, by the time they reach in the university, that career may not be there. So all the subjects that they study, they are just the building blocks for any career, as a matter of fact. Now, the industry experts and the academia must get together to get into the schools right from grade 8 and 9 to create an awareness. And this must be one of the compulsory component that we talk to the children, because we must open up. It is not giving them abundance of choices, but making them aware. The awareness campaigns, the awareness programs must be taken up. That is what I personally believe, because if this is done at a war footing, then probably we will be able to keep the technology under control, because otherwise, definitely technology is moving faster than what we are moving. Children of today, they are the Gen Z, so they are not deprived of anything. We were never, we had to learn how to operate a mobile, whereas today a 3-year-old can operate a mobile faster than us. So this is exactly what is happening. So what I personally believe as a consultant and as an ex-principal and founder of 2 schools, that children do not lack any resources, but they do lack guidance. And the experts who guide them, they must have full awareness of what they are talking to them about. Thank you. I put a full stop here so that my time doesn't exceed.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. And you're very right. They rely heavily on social media to make their career choices. And for all the teens who are here, you can all understand that social media algorithms work in a way where they create echo chambers around you. What is an echo chamber? Echo chamber is simply social media agrees with you. If you typically search for a typical type of a career, you'll only see that career in all its formats and in all its successes. So it's a very limited kind of a resource that you're using. Don't rely on it. Use more sources. And most importantly, in the education institutes, there will have to be a lot more conscious effort. And you're very right, on war footing rather, that, career exploration, and most importantly, teens knowing that if I really get into the sciences, what is the array of careers that I really can get into? And what will my life look like in any of those careers 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line? Is it something that I really want to be committed to as a teenager? Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. S.V. Chandra, the principal of the Mansarovar School, Betul, Madhya Pradesh, India. Chandrasekhar sir, over to you. And since you come from a tier 2, tier 3 town in India, so for you, the career choices, the career exploration of your students is very different. So share your experience of what are the nuances that you see in your school. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh, for giving me an opportunity to interact with such a wonderful panelist. Good evening, one and all who are present here with this web talk. According to me, of course, this topic is very interesting one, as well as quite thoughtful, provoking topic. Here in this digital era, and the resources are unlimited, career counselors are available everywhere, but still confusion in the mind of teenagers. It is a very big question on us. So according to me, what I feel, because I belong to a little bit rural area from the Madhya Pradesh, India, what I felt, the students maximum don't know when to start to think about their career. As Professor George sir told, the 14 to 16 years, it's the exact. So according to me, 14-year teenager must have to start think about, means the school has to guide to children of the 14 years age about their strength, what to opt in their career, and the school must have to provide their complete resources to enhance their skills towards achieve their goal and to achieve the career what they want to achieve. So my previous speaker also, Dr. Cherry, has said pressure from parents. Absolutely, I agree with madam, because I felt here in rural area, parents don't know what is the actual meaning of JEE, NEET, etc., etc. But they want, if they what must clear JEE and NEET exams. So it's our responsibility as a leader. We must have to tell them what is the strength of their what and where their what can be motivated to improve their skills. In our school, we are introducing slowly some skill labs as well as some skill courses so that students, if cannot achieve their goal in the field of engineering and as well as in doctoral, medical, whatever else, so they can enhance their life skills and they can prove themselves in the society. As a conclusion of my talk, I would like to say that there is resources are a lot, but all career guidance is lacking clarity among the teenagers. That's why they are struggling to choose their particular career. So I would like to call all career counselors, just prepare all FAQs in connection with all kind of career options. With this, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Blub Web Series for giving me opportunity for this expressing my views in these talks. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar ji. You're very right. There should be a repository of career choices there in each and every institution that can be shared with teenagers, typically in the age range of 14 and above, because that's the right age to start exploration. So that by 16, 17, you have a little bit of an understanding that, okay, this is the direction I really want to take my life towards. We run a very interesting institution called the World Teen Parliament, where every year teenagers from more than 35, 40 countries participate. And at the World Teen Parliament, we are doing a very specific effort towards this. We are organizing career debates across the globe where we are actually, inviting teenagers to share their opinion on what do they think on career choices. Which industries do they feel are working better? Which industries do they feel are not working better? So it's in the same series of things we wanted to have this conversation with school leaders and university leaders as well, that what conscious effort can be taken in a way that it can reach maximum people by not making it expensive or superbly premium, but what are those small little things that can be done so that teens are more aware by the time they have to decide their careers. Thank you so much. So let me invite the next speaker for today. Now, the next set of speakers that I'm inviting are superbly interesting. They bring in the perspective of teenagers. We've heard adults about what should teenagers be doing, but let's now listen to teens. What do they think that our adults really thinking it right, or the teens are already a step ahead of all of us? Let me invite the first teen speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Akshara KS, who's a grade 12 student from Gyan Vihar School, Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. Akshara, over to you. Please unmute yourself. The next 3 minutes are yours.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone. Teens, what a beautiful word, who have their own world, a phase we all are facing where elders consider them as kids and kids look up to them as elders. A confusing yet wonderful stage of life. However, the discussions, the questions start arising: what you want to do, which course are you going to choose, what career have you planned for your future, what, which, how, so many questions. Why are we 1 in 3 teen unsure about the career path? I am Akshara, a student in class 12. And like many others, I am also unsure about what I want to do in the future. This is something a lot of teens go through, and also a big problem for others more than us. And the reasons can be different for everyone. For example, parents, kith and kin advise us that is not likely to be a suggestion, but a constant pressure to choose what they couldn't do as a career. But I'm lucky in this part, as my parents' motto is that their daughters, me and my sister, should live a life that we enjoy, not a life our parents want us to have. And yes, one more thing, I really don't know why. Even some people we have met for the first time also advise us. I myself faced this issue a few days back. Moving on, one is incapable to discover themselves nowadays, that they are questioning themselves of what they want to do, choose as a career to be happy, or as the overexposure to many fields and careers which I'm facing right now, is that we are feeling too overwhelmed to choose from these many options. Most importantly, we are forced to choose a career within a limited time frame. For example, right after 10th, in 1 or 2 months, we are required to opt for a course. And again, after 12th, we have to select degrees and professional courses. It might be no issues for a student who have a vision, but for someone like me who flows in the normal pace, it's a hard call. In the end, it falls on us, which often turns into a fear, anxiety of choosing a career before we have even had the chance to explore our options. And I'm really thankful to attend this great session as I am also one of those teens who don't know what to do still now. I'm so happy that I could share my views and worries and I could hear others also. I'm also thankful to our school and the respected teacher for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Akshara. And I think another perspective to this whole discussion is that a teen might be overexposed or overwhelmed with the choices. And with the current world and the kind of setup of things around us, with the kind of vulnerability that comes in, uncertainty that comes in, for a teenager, it's really difficult. If even, you ask an adult that if you were a teen at this point of time, what kind of choices would you have made? And even an adult will skip a breath that, okay, it's going to be superbly difficult because I cannot predict nearly anything that's going to happen. The predictability factor that typically decided a lot of career choices for a lot of adults has nearly vanished. And that is why it is becoming even more difficult for the current teen generation to decide what's the direction that I want to go to. Thank you so much, Akshara, for bringing this to the conversation. Let's invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Fatima Binti Riaz, who's currently an influencer at the World Teen Parliament, a grade 8 student from Lucent Global School, Anantnag, Jammu and Kashmir, India. Fatima, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fatima Binti Riaz, a proud 8th grader from Lucent Global School, Jammu and Kashmir, India. I'm an influencer at the 4th World Teen Parliament, and I'm here to talk about something that quietly troubles 1 in 3 teenagers, being unsure about our career paths. Most people will tell you it's because we lack guidance or because the job market keeps changing. But here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. It's not just a lack of information, it's too much noise. We grow up in a world where our parents' dream, our teachers' advice, social media trends, and AI career prediction tests are all taking at the same time. And often our worth feels tied to a job title before we have even understood who we are as people. I believe career confusion isn't a problem of not knowing enough about careers. It's about not knowing enough about ourselves. Think about it. We spent 12 plus years studying maths, science, and history, but almost zero time studying our own minds, passions, and values. No wonder so many teens feel like strangers to their own dreams. Here's what I think can help. First, career rehearsals, not just career talks. Let students try out different roles for a week or a month, like internship for teenagers. Second, life skills or job skills. Teach adaptability, creativity, and problem solving so we're ready for careers that don't even exist yet. And third, silence the noise. Give students safe space to explore ideas without the pressure of grades, salaries, or comparison. Because here's my unique thought. Maybe it's okay to not have your career path fully drawn at 16. The real danger isn't uncertainty, it's rushing into the wrong certainty. So let's stop asking teens, what will you become when you grow up, and start asking, who do you want to become as a human being? The career will follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. You're very right. I think a very important point and a very new perspective that you brought to the conversation that for a teenager, rather than just doing career talks or conversations, let them do a career rehearsal. Let them imagine what kind of a career do they want to get into. Do we make them do observerships? Do we make them do internships? We also try to do something around this space called career canvassing, where we help them canvas their career, that what kind of a life do you imagine for yourself, and then do a backward integration into what kind of career choices are available for you to achieve that kind of a lifestyle. So thank you so much, Fatima, for bringing this to the conversation. Now let's bring in somebody who has just taken this decision from, moving from school to the university life and now is trying to tread their path on deciding where life's going to take them or what are the choices available to them. What's the thought process that a university or an undergraduate student feels they have transitioned the journey? What's the current thought process? and what is it that's going on in their mind, that how will they deal with the vulnerability and uncertainty of today's job market. A very warm welcome to Mr. Tanishq Kadyan, who's a BA student in the King's College, London, from London, England, United Kingdom. Tanishq, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Daksh. I hope I'm audible. First of all, honored to be among this panel full of teen energy and at the same time seasoned perspectives from professors and from other career counselors who have so much to offer on how teens can bring an impact and change, re-evolve, reinvent the system that they have been put into and basically embedded into. I would like to start with, first of all, explaining that the transition for me was when I basically graduated from school at 17. And almost in 6 months, I was destined to fly off to London because I'd been accepted into King's. And the decision was not just very simple. And I knew that there were going to be bigger costs, considering that now I had to make not just a career, but even my own life by my own hands. And I have to say that with every coming time, it has become more and more clear that teens are actually leading the change when it comes to deciding how future paths are going to be envisioned. That means that today's system is not just being decided by the generations before us, which, by the way, had a carved path towards how they want to lead their future and which also had opportunities served to them in some manner. Because today we see that with so many perspectives that I was hearing about information overloading, a supermarket approach that we are having with the rise of social media, LinkedIn's, where people are flashing their titles, their jobs. It's a whole fish market that's happening over there. But I believe that if we actually go to the very deep root of it, we can see that one thing that has not been taught to everyone is the costs before the glory. So that means that we are chasing the titles, let's say an analyst at Goldman Sachs, but are we actually telling them the cost behind it, the cost of the corporate life, the cost of doom scrolling Excel sheets every single night, thinking what are you going to do in the future, and also thinking about the next salary check that you will cut out. These are real struggles that our education system is not preparing us for, and it is very much visible in how career counseling is happening. I was also very pleased to hear of a career rehearsal kind of project which can be taken up, and I believe this will really help future students in the coming years. It is a way to help them understand their fears, to understand their strengths, to understand where their confidence lies, to choose a career. And at the same time, if you are, let's say, not having a career, not having a startup, not earning money for your parents, but you see people flashing it on their Instagrams, on their LinkedIn's, just realize that you're not behind the curve. You're not anywhere behind in life. I think we have to start taking life in a perspective that it's all about a roller coaster. We are sometimes going slow and sometimes we are going fast. We have to learn to live life that way rather than rushing into it without any forethought, without any understanding of what we want out of a future. That is what one thing that I've learned out of it. Even in terms of youth advocacy, I've done youth advocacy recently at the United Nations, and I've also been part of Indian societies over here in Kings. And currently, as you can see, I just came from a government ministry where I've been working for some time now. The experience has been multifaceted, but I can surely tell you that had you seen me 2 years before when I was out from school, this wouldn't have been the Danish that you see right now. I was very confused, and let me tell you, I think it was that confusion that really started to build something into me. And even now, I'll say I'm not very sorted. I don't like to flaunt it that I'm sorted. I am not sorted. I'm just trying out things, and I think that's how it always should be. Just keep trying, trial error, trial error. Thank you. I'll just yield the next one.
Thank you so much, Tanishq. And that's the approach that most of the people around take, that let's try it out. Does it work for us? Does it not work for us? In this session today, the core purpose is to really identify that can we really put a structure to this trial and error. A lot of career counseling people have done a lot of research around it. A lot of school people have done a lot of experimentation around it. Is there a way that exploration could be precluded? Can we really start it off around grade 7, grade 8? What Tanishq is right now doing during his undergraduate, can that really start around teenage? What Fatima is really suggesting of something called a career rehearsal. So we've heard these all perspectives that come from university leaders to school leaders to undergraduate students to school students. Now it's time to typically bring this call or this conversation towards a conclusion. So before that happens, let me ask all the speakers for today, what is that one small little thing that you think a school or a student must implement right away so that they have, teenagers who can make better and more informed career choices? I'll go back to Dr. George for 60 seconds. I'll come to each of the speakers for 60 seconds for that one thought they think they should be remembered, and that thought that people can implement right away in their institutions so that teens can make better career choices. Professor George, over to you.
Thank you very much, moderator. Straight away, I would like to stop. First of all, as a person from higher education, I would like to leave it with higher education. And I say that there must be intentionality in our educational programs. There must be intentionality, which means focusing the learners who come to us. We have the responsibility of providing guidance. We have the responsibility of showing options and the responsibility of showing what option leads to what kind of livelihood, because that is what brings them, what kind of productivity, what kind of satisfaction. And then there is where the independent choices have come. I do believe that, and this comes with a change, a shift in pedagogy. The pedagogy that directs the interest of the learner into the real practical world. You're learning this. What will you be able to do? The competency-based approach, which we are starting in Uganda, and also continuing to, what will you be able to do it? And how will you be able to do it? If you have chosen a specific, what are the specific skills for that particular placement, job placement you have? What do you need? What range of knowledge do you need to acquire? And this will help them to prepare. For the moment, I think the law program does that because they are even taught how to dress. As a lawyer, you must dress like that. The intentionality is clear. And this should be spread to other general programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor George. Intentionality has to be developed across institutions at all education levels, that you have to explain and make sure that the student understands that what's the transaction of a career choice? What are you really giving and what will you get at the end of it? What's that journey? And you have to understand that with the intention that you really want to do it. You have to put yourself in that situation to be able to decide better. Thank you so much, Professor John. That's, I think, a very good takeaway, that bring in intentionality in every single step of education. Thank you so much, sir. Let's go to the next speaker. Dr. Cherry, what's your closing statement that you think people must remember you by when they talk of careers? And most importantly, any suggestion that you might have for schools or students that they should implement immediately?
I think I would close by saying that there must be intentionality, as Dr. George said, but prioritizing career discovery. Prioritize it in a way that students are given practical job experiences such as internships and mentorships from the high school level. If we can provide a number of opportunities for students to explore different careers as interns, and also allow them to sit upfront with persons involved in those careers, the mentorship and the internship, I think, would be definitely helpful to our young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. I think two important elements have already come out of it. First is the intentionality of what you're trying to provide. Second, give them experiences of what they're really getting into. Are we able to develop an experiential approach for career choices as well? Intentionality, experience. Let's bring in more from the next speakers. Over to Dr. Gladis, Diana Sivkumar. Dr. Gladis, over to you. What's your closing thought on today's conversation?
Thank you for the time. I wanted to take it like the children, instead of seeing it as a source of stress, these children must see it as a chance to explore, learn, and grow, like most of us are saying, because the right career isn't just about earning a living, it's about living a life that has a purpose, passion, and meaning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gladis. So first is intentionality, second is experience, third is the ability to understand will that career really give you a purposeful life? Employability is one part of it, earning money is one part of it, but are you really able to identify with the purpose of the career that you're really getting into? Let's now go to Mrs. Meenakshi Ehlawat, ma'am, your closing thought on today's conversation.
Yeah, once again, good evening. Most of the points have been beautifully covered by the other speakers. Yet, something I would like to add on is that children must be allowed to explore their own interests, passions, and at the same time, keep inviting, not just for talks, but telling them what type of struggles, challenges, and what they are exactly going to face if they choose a career in that field from the industry experts also. Because we should, like we are having this webinar, we should have some webinars at school level itself from the industry experts, and not only just career fairs. It is, and at the same time, we must include parents, because they should not be overbearing for the child that you need to do what we ask you to do. They must be given freedom, and children definitely show a lot of inclination of what they are good at right from their early teens. And this is what we need to observe, because observation is the key. And that is how we can channelize their behavior, thoughts, and actions. And first we modify their thoughts and then their behavior, and then their action automatically gets into the place once they start moving on the same track. Because children, they are full of, they will always be clogged, but they will not be very aware of how to sift information. And that is where the parents, counselors, and the career guidance counselors especially, they definitely come into being. There should not be any barrier or taboo on taking the psychometric and personality tests, because they are very, very important. I may not know something about my child unless he has not undertaken the test. And we must give weightage to these tests, because the personality keeps on shaping up. The cognitive development is happening throughout their school journey. And that is the longest time of their life that they spend in an institution. And that is where exactly not only the subjects, the character, the thoughts, and all their persona gets developed. And that is what is going to shape them. For sure, the most important thing is never fear failure. This is what we are not teaching these days. Let them fail, not in subjects. And even if it is always an encouragement to better themselves. I mean, why we say, oh, this, because, like in India, we stigmatize failure. Even in the businesses, when they fail, parents say, we told you not to get into this business, you failed.
Thank you so much, Ms. Meenakshi. You're very right. I think I can take the point, but you'll have to go ahead. You have a very important point. Let them explore, let them fail, take those psychometric tests. And most importantly, it's your journey from outside to inside. Are you really able to find that connected? What is it that you'll be able to do throughout your life if you're at least able to have a direction? So intentionality, experience, exploration. And now let's move on to the next speaker. What's their thought on it? Chandra, over to you for a minute for your closing thought on today's conversation.
With this platform, I would like to suggest teenagers must learn to trust on parents as well as on school, because these are the partners of their career guidance as well as their career growth. And I hope this trust will create confidence among them, and this trust will help them to today's uncertainty to convert into tomorrow's success. So it's my suggestion to all teenagers, kindly trust on your parents as well as in school in connection with your career option. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekharji. And yes, you're right. Let there be a little more trust in the parent, in the institution, and in teenagers themselves. When we trust more, we'll give each other the space to talk, the space to explore and experiment. We're nearly at the conclusion of the session. I'll quickly go back to the teens for their closing statements. All the three teenagers that we have here, what is that one thing that you think that people around you should understand? What is that one thing that you feel missing in your ecosystem as of now? Akshara, over to you for a minute for your closing thought.
Yes, it would be great if we had a session, weekly sessions about the jobs or careers there are in the world, and it would be great if we know the pros and cons of that job, so that at that time when we have to choose the career, we'll be confidently choosing that career, and we'll be confident that we'll be happy to choose that career. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So weekly conversations around career and career choices and available options. Fatima, over to you for your closing statement.
As I conclude, I just want to leave one thought behind. If schools truly want to end this confusion for teenagers, they must give us something beyond classrooms, something like career labs. Just as science labs let us experiment with formulas, career labs should let us experiment with our own futures. A space to test roles, reflect on passion, and build adaptability. Because in the end, clarity doesn't come from more advice or pressure, it comes from experience. And if schools can gift us that, I believe the next generation, basically our generation, will step into careers not with confusion but with confidence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. And yes, I think career rehearsals, career labs, you need more conversations. And most importantly, all of this being provided at the right time. Over to Tanishq for his closing statement before we conclude the call. Tanishq, over to you.
Yes. In a nutshell, I'd say create a cost-benefit atmosphere into this ecosystem, and that means that I would like I don't want to offend any career counselors or anyone over here, but I believe that it is the responsibility of the older generation as much as it is of the upcoming generation to create this atmosphere. Don't just tell students of the glossy side of these titles, of these responsibilities. Tell them of the sacrifices they will make for these responsibilities. That means waking up for nights, grinding, sending resumes to almost thousands of recruiters who will not ever reply to you, even sacrificing your social life with your friends just because you want to get that title, you want to get that job, you want to get that money for your parents. Tell them of those sacrifices before you tell them of the strengths and of the glory that you will get from it.
Thank you so much, Tanishq. I think you're very right. I think it's a very good conclusion to the conversation where you say, when you talk to a teenager about their career choices, don't build infatuation. Make them fall in love. That's the difference. If you just give them the glossy titles, you tell them the amazing parts of a career that they can get, you are just, inciting their passion and making them infatuated with a career choice. Don't do that. Give them the time to fall in love with the career that they're really choosing. There's a big difference between these two. When you look at it from the mythological perspective, Indian mythology actually gives a very good way of understanding this. Your journey from dharma to swadharma, understanding what the world needs from you, and finally getting to the point where you understand what's your purpose in the world. Where does your cog really fit in this whole machinery of the world that is currently operating? Look at both the sides, have more conversations, and let teenagers make their better career choices, not just for themselves, but for having a happier world for all of us. Thank you so much, everyone. This was the Blub World Web Talks 262nd episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want this conversation to continue, raise both your hands up in the air so that we know that you liked it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the conversation. This is Daksh. Namaste, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.